Welcome back to Studio Chatter. The struggle with diets and health is real. Let's dive into a new approach to eating. Welcome Laura Cragun, an intuitive eating coach, to the table.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Yes, thanks for having me.
Wow, an intuitive eating coach.
Yes.
Define that for us.
So I guess intuitive eating or coaching?
Well, both, really.
Well, coaching has become more and more popular, and really coaching in and of itself is the right system, finding that right set of things that's really going to work. There are all sorts of diets, of course, so coaches that could do that, but I believe intuitive eating is that right system. And then accountability, something you see every week or month, whatever it is, your set amount of time to be accountable to someone as you try to go through that change from getting from A to B, and we bridge that gap and then see that support. So that's what coaching is, where in between I am contacting you and you're contacting me with those hang-ups that you have. So that's what coaching is in a nutshell. If that makes sense.
Yes.
Okay. So therapist, cheerleader, like just your go-to person to help you get through.
The intuitive part then. So intuitively, I would like smart cookie. How would you coach me through that?
Well, intuitive eating, yes. You would, that's where it goes down to. It is you.
Okay.
Do you want it? Do you feel good? But intuitive eating, as I guess I should probably say, is like a nutshell. It really is this dynamic modality. There's so much to it. It includes your rational thought, your instincts, and your emotions. So if you account all three of those things, you're going to find better health. And it comes with 10 principles. It was coined about 30 years ago by Elise Reich and Evelyn Tribble, and they are the founder nutritionists, and they made the book Intuitive Eating.
There's a book.
Yeah, there's a book.
You should read it for us.
It's a monumental book. People love it. And I read it 5 years ago, but I wasn't ready to let go.
Really?
I wasn't ready to let go of I wanted to still fit in with the ideal. I still wanted to lose weight, and I am so glad that seed was planted, because then when I finally hit rock bottom, I knew where to go. Hopefully, I'm hoping to not let people get to that point of hitting rock bottom, which they call it diet rock bottom. You've tried all the things and you're so upset, and you have a lot of negative mentality and all these food rules that just are boggling your brain. You can't even approach food normal. But intuitive eating is basis of it, as I was saying, is the making peace with food, like stopping the war with your body.
Trying something and saying, how does this make my body feel? Am I responding well to it, like emotionally, physically?
Yes, it also has more of the logistical components of your cues and your fullness and your satisfaction. But that's even just further down the road. It goes in the 10 principles in order for you to really unlock your brain off of diet mentality. That's where it starts, is rejecting diet mentality. So you're ripping open the seams of all those things you have thought over the years of, are carbs bad? Can I drink my calories? Things like that. Are calories even that important? And the health and beauty industry go hand in hand. And so there's about $7 billion into the health industry. And that's a lot of waste of time and money for people still being unhappy and still always going back to it because it doesn't work.
I think we're chasing that dream or that facade of what we feel like we should be. And maybe you're telling us, maybe that's not what your body is.
No,
so fall in love with it and figure out what that is, maybe?
Yes, well, it's called your genetic blueprint.
Okay.
And I use the analogy of dogs, and it really works because everyone loves dogs right now.
Okay.
And I have an English bulldog, so I kind of love this example of no matter as hard as he tries, we have a poodle next door that he plays with all the time. No matter how hard he tries, he's never going to be that poodle. If he wanted to. It's just like us. We are just born, we have that genetic makeup. That won't change.
Right.
And we love him all the better for being a bulldog with all the wrinkles.
That's such a good analogy.
That is a good analogy.
Right.
Like that's so good to use with kids and teenagers growing up, but even as
like
women,
that bulldog could get skinny, but he'll never change into the poodle. Like he'll never
what the bulldog really get skinny? Like the bulldog's
because you
built
love
to be
that.
a bulldog.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh yes, I mean he's the exact opposite. He has no tail. He has the fur that sheds and it's short and the droopy face, and he doesn't even have the snout. And it's all the different things that we are as women, as men. We are all different, and it's beautiful. We're created, to be that way, different. It adds flavor to life, and we're embracing that with intuitive
That's really
eating.
beautiful.
Right.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, I don't think that social media probably has helped us any, because we are looking at the ideal all the time, right? So if we try the keto diet this month, maybe it will work. If we try this, or if it's the perfect number on the scale. So you talked about maybe hitting rock bottom. So what does that mean for any of us who maybe get to that point where I need to be this number, I need to do this or be that ideal? So how do you change that mentality?
Right. So you are at that point where it's not going to work anymore.
Okay.
So you're surrendering. I think it's great when you get to that point and I have nowhere else to go. I really need to get to this. Of course, I want people to get to that before, but it is letting go, ripping up the seams, not believing those things that you thought were real for all those years. The scale, even getting rid of your scale and not weighing yourself. I'm 1 year in recovery with my eating disorders, and I've thrown away my scale since, and I haven't weighed myself.
And how is
long.
that really? Like lovely?
Yes, it's great.
It's like if it fits or even if it feels good, then you're good.
Yeah,
Right?
Because 2 pounds can get you mentally.
Yes,
Oh, totally.
Yeah, you don't
100%.
even think about it. You can even turn around at the doctor's office. You can not play by these games that the world has put us in, and looking at it in a whole different way. That, like you were saying, like what do we do from there? That second mentality, or the second principle, is to honor your hunger.
Okay.
Then you really get real about, okay, maybe I was suppressing for so long, and I call it the honeymoon stage.
Okay.
And I do to coach people on this, that you go hog wild. And that's where everyone is so scared of. But within letting go, that's where it actually comes together.
Which brings me to this making peace with food. What does that mean? What does that look like?
It means, there's no moral ground between Diet Coke and a glass of milk. Like we've been talking about drinks before. Like there is no moral ground to it. They are just both means of getting some fuel for yourself. Of course, one has more nutritional value than the other, but it's what we attach to it that really starts to mess with our brain. So if we can take that away, and then we always want what we can't have, and we always would say can't have that, but then you end up binging, or you end up going overboard. And so when you start to do that honeymoon stage and letting yourself have those foods you wouldn't, and maybe the bigger portions you wouldn't, over time, I always promise my clients that they will get to that point, that they will finally fizzle it out, and they realize, I actually don't want the whole bag of Doritos,
Right.
and I don't want 3 donuts in one sitting right now, or more. And then you actually start to figure out, okay, my own clean slate of what I want, what feels good to me, and the sweets can still be a part of it.
Filter in there
Yeah.
just a
So
little
if
bit.
someone wanted to call you for coaching, how does the process start?
I do an intuitive eating breakthrough session. It's free of charge. I just want to talk and get real with people and helping them. And of course, that coaching, getting from A to B, what's the real for them right now and what can be their ideal, and bridging that gap. And for me, it is the pillars of intuitive eating as that system. And then I add in mental overhaul. You have to overhaul, which is a lot in there. And then I use Christ as also my third component. He needs to help and heal the whole situation, making that healing process with the relationship with your body and your food, and stop being at war. And when you're always at war with yourself, ever since we've been young girls, that's a big deal. If you finally come home and you believe yourself that you can be beautiful and enough as you are, and it's just a beautiful modality where you can put in that health and then put in the body image. And at the very end, as I have to say before we end, is the very end, we do get to honoring your nutrition. It's the 10th principle. You have to get through all the rest first with the mental game and coping with your emotions without using food. That's a big part of it too. And then we finally get to nutrition towards the end.
Love that. Wow. So it's like a 10-step program.
Yeah, it is.
Which is true.
Really,
Like, food is an addiction just like anything else. So this makes sense
yes.
to me.
Yeah, I love that. And I love that you have introduced gratitude into that's part of that, because that's so important. So I had an event, when was it? A month ago with my stroke. So I have a practice now where I kiss my brain, and I'm thankful for my brain, just because things, that helps keep things in order. So I think if you can be grateful for your body, or if it's intuitive eating, or just adding that element, I appreciate that.
And before we let Laura go, tell our viewers how can they get a hold of you or find you?
Yes, you can find me at lauracragun.com. You can sign up for a free intuitive eating session there. I also have a workbook, a course, and then my actual program for the whole coaching. So I'm trying to guide people on where they need. At that moment, I have a free guide, even if you just want to try something for free, and you just go to lauracragun.com.
Okay.
latterdayintuitiveeating.com/free guide.
Okay.
So,
we'll have our producer.
beginner's guide. Beginner's guide, because it's my beginner's guide to help you start 5 steps. We'll get started instead of the 10.
Love it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
There's more studio chatter coming up.